Raizin the Roof, presented by the Central Indiana Realtist Association, a local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Our mission is to build wealth through home ownership by enhancing economic development. We accomplish this goal by informing, advocating, and educating in the communities we serve. And now, Raizin the Roof.
Welcome and thank you for joining us as we're raising the roof. These programs are designed to show you how to build generational wealth through home ownership. I'm Priscilla Russell with United Real Estate, and today my co-host is
Dolores Kennedy with B&K Real Estate Services.
And today we're going to be talking to you about Home Buyer's Roadmap. We're going to be talking about how we start on our journey for home ownership and all the things that have to take place before we get there. And if we have time, we'll talk about some other things such as National Association of Real Estate Brokers and our local chapter, CIRA, Central Indiana Realtist. So we're going to be taking a break and we'll be right back to talk about Raizin the Roof and Home Buyer Roadmap.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Taylor, loan officer with First Merchants Bank, and I would love to help you with your first home purchase. We have a great program that provides a $7,500 grant depending on where you're purchasing and has a minimum credit score requirement of 600. Please call me at 317-566-7611.
Welcome back to Raizin the Roof. This is Priscilla Russell with United Real Estate and
Dolores Kennedy, broker owner of B&K Real Estate Services.
Today we're going to be talking about the Home Buyer's Roadmap. We want to make sure that we give you as much information as we can about getting ready for home ownership. Well, one of the first things that we have on our list is your initial consultation with your agent. And one of the things that you should be doing when you're talking to your agent and letting him or her know exactly what you want to do when you're getting ready to purchase your home, you're going to sort of establish your needs and your wish list. And one of the things that we do when we're talking to our customer is we ask them to send us a list of the things that are important to them, because everyone that purchases a house have the things on their list that they want to do and the things they want to accomplish. And then we also have you to think about what are your needs and what are your wants. Because many times our needs are one thing, because we may want $1 million home, but we might need to buy a $150,000 home so we can get in and take care of things. Then we also talk to you about the market and what's going on. That's one of the things that the agent would be talking to you about, and the market orientation and how things will be affected and how your home buyer purchase is affected at this time. So you would know exactly what's going on in the market at this time. Then also we would talk to you about signing an agreement with us to represent you in your home buying purchase, because when we list homes and we sell homes, and we always have an agreement with that seller. So now one of the things that many agents will do is they will ask you to agree to let them represent you, because the agent doesn't get paid until they find you the home, which could take a year. So they want to make sure that you're committed to them. So that's some of the things that we need to do to get started as we come out the gate and start looking for that home.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is getting that initial consultation is very important, because there are things, and as we've talked about before, myths. People are thinking one thing, but when they sit down and talk to the professional, they can tell them exactly what's expected of them, what's needed, and things of that sort. So that's good information, Ms. Priscilla.
So one of the other things that are available that we would start talking about, and we talk about getting pre-approved for your loan, is some of the things that's going to happen is that you're going to need to, not only in that pre-approval process, you're going to have to get your credit checked. So that's one of the things that the mortgage company is going to require. And for us at our company, we don't take you out to look at a home or set up appointments until we know that you can afford to purchase the kind of home that you're talking about.
Have you ever had anybody that say, well, no, I've already talked to them, but they just haven't gotten the letter to me yet. Can we just go out and see this one?
Oh, I have it all the time. And when, and in the past, I would do that because we might have a little time to get things together. But in that consultation that initially that I have with them about where the market is right now, that's one of the things that I'm going to have to let them know that in the past we could do that, but right now homes are coming on the market and they're selling within hours. And one of the things that we have to do is if we make an offer to purchase on that home, the first thing after the purchase agreement that the seller wants to know is, can this person buy this house? So one of the things that we have to get provided for my buyer is a letter from the mortgage company that says, yes, their credit is okay, and yes, they can afford this amount of money. And one of the things that happens when they do that is that they're going to tell you how much you can afford, and included in that payment is your taxes, your insurance, everything in order to come up with that amount. So no, I'm not taking you out these days without you having that letter, because in some homes we can't even get into the home. We have to do it virtually. So we just know what's happening in the real estate industry, so we have to let the buyer know it's not like it used to be.
And a lot of times, you would send the offer over and say, okay, we'll send the pre-approval over a little bit later. It's best to have that letter along with that offer, because they're not going to probably look at it. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to look at it because they don't have anything to back up that offer, because it's just a piece of paper until they have something to back it up.
Yes, and the other thing that happens as we help you with your home buying roadmap is that sometimes clients get their credit checked and there's things on there they had no idea that they're on there. So from there, we may have to recommend that you go to a credit repair service or help you to go to a not-for-profit like Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership and some of our other vendors that help us to get people ready to purchase homes. So we would have to have you to do that before we go showing your home. We don't want to show you that home and that's the perfect house and I just love it, and then we find out, well, you got a student loan on there that you haven't paid for the last year. So we've got to make sure we get all of that updated before we can go forward. So that's what happens on your roadmap. Your roadmap is like you got to take the right directions as you drive. So you've got to take that, you might have to take a detour to get back to where you need to be on the original series on your road trip. So you've got to do those kinds of things.
And usually when you're thinking about purchasing a home, long before you start looking, you've already got that seed or that plant is planted in your brain. You know what? I think I want to buy a home. And when you start thinking like that, that's when you need to start getting your credit items in order. Check in. You might even do a Credit Karma to check and see where your credit score is. And then there's the 3 credit bureaus. I can't say that. I never could have been able to say that word.
Okay.
You can get it. You can get a free credit report every year from each Equifax, TransUnion, and I don't know what that. What's the other one? It's 3. It's 3 of them. Okay. Anyway, but you can get a free credit report, and it can tell you where you are. So therefore, if there is something on there that you're not sure about, that's the time to find it before you find that home that you just love and cannot live without, and then you find out that there's these student loans or other things on there, or even there could be things on there that aren't even yours, but that will give you time to get those things cleared up. So that would be a perfect time. What do you think?
Well, I think it's wonderful because right now, for myself, I have a client that I've been working with him for almost a year and a half.
Okay.
And that year and a half, he had some things that we needed to take care of. But it was fantastic that he called ahead and we sat down and we went through the whole process and he found out what he needed to do. It took him a minute to get everything taken care of, but he still wants to be a homeowner. So what we want to really emphasize is that home ownership is wonderful, but we have to have good credit. We have to straighten out things sometimes. And if you're willing to go the distance, then we're willing to go with you. Sometimes we have to keep in touch every couple of weeks to make sure that everything is okay. Then we got to think about what we're spending as we on our roadmap to home ownership success. So we have to think of all these things as we're going through it. So we tell you to call us first. And I know we're spending a little time on this, but the reason is because we want to make sure you know that it's all possible, but it might take a little bit longer than when you're going out to rent an apartment where you're just having your credit check and you're giving your deposit, because the bank is giving you money for 30 years sometimes. So they want to make sure that you're going to be able to pay it and go forward.
That you're a good risk for them. And so, and that's why it's very important to start getting those things together, even before you get to your professional. You know, start working on those things before you get there. That way, you got a head start. And you know, and something you just said, Priscilla, sometimes it could take a month, it could take 2 months, it could take a year and a half, like you have this client. But he will know exactly where he is once he writes that offer for it. And in addition to INHP, we have NID, which is a subsidiary of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And so they are a counseling service for those that may be in need of getting their credit repaired before purchasing a home.
And one of the other things that we can really direct them to is to getting their home buyer certificate. And you can tell them about one of the programs that we have available right now to help home buyers to get ready to purchase a home. Nothing is ever just really, really easy and simple. Sometimes we have to go through some extended help in order to purchase the home. But once you get there, you'll never regret having your own home ownership and starting to build that generational wealth through home ownership at this time.
We have a home buyer workshop that Sarah is sponsoring along with NID, and it is a 6.5-hour course that gives you your certificate for home ownership. There are some down payment assistance programs that are out there that require you to have some kind of credit counseling, and we offer that through Central Indiana Realtors Association with the partnership with NID. So we'll talk more about that, but that is a class that we give and that we are giving it quarterly. 317-710-3107 is my phone number, and I can give you more information about that. Or you can go to eventbrite.com and register there for our classes that we will have, and they will be ongoing. So we hope that you'll be able to come to some of them. But we'll be right back, and we're going to go on with the roadmap to home ownership.
Hi, I'm Sherry Boudwin, a loan officer with First Merchants Bank. If you're thinking about buying your first home, give me a call. We have a no money down program and no private mortgage insurance. My number is 317-566-6123.
Welcome back to Raising the Roof. This is Priscilla Russell and
Dolores Kennedy.
And we're continuing our talk today and our information on Home Buyers Roadmap, getting you there so you can purchase your home. We talked about earlier about getting pre-approved for a home. So there are several steps that we talked about. And our next step would be, after you know that you're ready to go, we're going to start searching for a home. So one of the ways that we do that, of course, now the internet is just everything. We refer people to Realtor.com, and of course they go to Zillow and some of the other places to look for a home. What you need to know though when you go there is you need an outline of what you're looking for, the price range, and an area that you're interested in, because we don't want you trying to look at homes if we're looking in Indianapolis and we don't want to go to Lafayette, So we need to sort of outline what kind of area that we're looking for. And then as you go through, you'll be selecting properties that you're interested in. And then sometimes the agents will send you information. One of the things that I do for my clients is I set them up and make sure that they get the information on the homes as they come on the market. And what I say to them now is when those homes comes on the market and I send them to you, I need to know within that hour if that's something that you're interested in, because they're going so fast these days.
But do you remember when a house would come on the market and you would call your client and say, okay, there's a house at such and such street that's on the market, and they'd say, okay, I'll go see it Friday, and today's Wednesday. That don't happen anymore. You need to be on your way out the door when you get that. When you get that notice, you need to be calling and saying, Dolores or Priscilla, hey, I need to go and see this house right away, because they don't stay on the market long at all in this environment.
Yes, you have to really make your selection and go and see the house that day, within hours these days. So when your agents tell you, we've got to go right now, they're not kidding. This is how the market is right now. So we would have to make our time. We know that people work and so forth. And one of the things that I've done here lately that I had never done before is I take my phone and videotape go to the house and videotape the showing as I'm walking through the house, so that the buyer, if they're at work or they can't make it there, they have a perception of what the homes look like, because I know that if I'm going to service my buyers correctly, that I can't wait from Wednesday to Friday. I need to get in there and see what's going on. And one of the other ways that we can do it is that online we have virtual tours now for the home, so you can have an idea. And we even make offers now based on the fact that the buyer hasn't seen the home, but it's contingent upon them seeing the home within 48 hours or something like that. So there's all kinds of ways that we do things now. It's different than it was when I got in this business a few years ago. Nowadays we have to do things really, really quick. So that's one of the things that we're going to do when we start your home search. And then once you find the home that you really think is the one for you, the next thing you're going to need to do is prepare the offer. And in the offer, there are so many things that you're going to need to be cognizant of.
You don't show the house and then they say, let me sleep on it, and and I'll let you know tomorrow.
Well, they can sleep on it if they want to, but it's not. If it's a good one, it's not going to be available the next day. And some of the other things that happen is, is that the agents will ask you to have an offer in within a couple of days and time frames and things like that. But when we see that house and ready to make the offer, we got to make sure we know that we need that earnest money. And the earnest money, we would talk to you about what that means, to have that ready in addition to your letter and so forth, so that if you're the one who gets that home, we've got to have that money to them within a specific period of time.
So it's not, you can't write the offer and they say, well, I'll send you a check on, I'll get the check written to you on Friday. We can't do that?
No. We got to have that money there too. They got 2 days to get it. The code of ethics for the state of Indiana with us realtors, they have two days to get that in. Once that offer is accepted, 2 days to get that in that bank account, and so that they can confirm that you are going to be the purchaser. And that's part of the whole transaction and time frames and all of that. So it's not even the agent's fault. It's what happens. That's what we have to do. We can't hold somebody's house off the market for 3 or 4 days waiting for you to get the money to them.
You know, I've had someone just a couple of weeks ago. They said that someone waited a while to get. They kept promising that they were going to get the earnest money over to them, and they never did. And they says, "Well, it must have got lost in the mail and all this kind of stuff," and they never got it. Well, they finally sent the earnest money check, but it bounced.
Okay. So now the house is back on the market.
Back on the market.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So well, those things happen, and if it bounces, then the contract is no longer together.
Contract.
It's not a contract, so we have to go to the next thing. So one of the other things that's going to happen in your roadmap to home ownership is you're going to, as you make your offer, one of the things that I always consider is getting a home warranty when you're making the offer, whether it's you paying for it or the seller paying for it. But what that will do is that warrants your home for a whole year, and that gives you some safety and some relief that if something does happen to your home that's major, then if it's included in your home warranty, then that's maybe $75, $100 fee. And even if it's something major, you may be able to take care of it with that home warranty. Then after that home warranty, all that's going to be on the offer. Then if it's accepted, if that offer is accepted, then of course we got to get that earnest money to them. Everything's got to be done. And when we're sending you this offer, used to be we come out and have you sign everything. Now everything is electronic.
Yep.
So you sign it. You need to get ready to be an electronic specialist, because we'll need you to sign things so we can get them back over to the seller quickly. So after we do all of that and negotiate that for you, then the next thing we're going to do on that purchase agreement is you're going to see they're going to have a time and a place to have an inspection done. And what happens in the inspection, Dolores?
Well, we have someone that we will have you, and sometimes we will recommend some names of inspectors, and it used to be that I would say, or you can go to the Yellow Pages, and that's how long ago it's been. So you can go to the Yellow Pages and find a home inspector. But the home inspector is the person that's going to come out there, and they are going to look the house over and inspect it for flaws, any of those things that's going on in the house, because when you go through the house, you're looking at, oh, it's beautiful, it's this and it's that, and you are not looking at the bones of the house. You're not looking at the mechanicals of the house. And so that inspector is going to go in there and he's going to let you know. And I have had clients that have said, well, no, I'm good with it. It's fine. And I said, oh, no. We're not doing that, because there are things that you're looking at the house superficially, and the inspector is going to go and do the nuts and bolts of it and to let you know exactly what the condition of the home. And I'm telling you, over the years, I have been very surprised at some of the circumstances that have come out of beautiful homes. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous, but you need an inspection. And there has been one occasion in all the years I've been doing this that someone said they did not want it, and I had them sign a waiver, because if something goes wrong, the first person's name that's on that lawsuit is going to be mine. So that's why I make sure that I'm covered, because you want to be sure, because no matter, and the fact that you try to encourage them to get the inspection, that goes by the wayside. It's you are the professional, and you didn't insist on me having a home inspection.
Yes, and then one of the things that happens after the home inspection, then if there's major things that need to be addressed, then we go back and we can renegotiate all of that again, all over again. Then the next thing that's going to happen is that in the background, while all this is going on in your roadmap, the realtor and the mortgage company and everyone that's involved, we're getting the title work taken care of. We're going to make sure that there's no liens or anything, just like a car. There's nothing on that house that would cause you a problem. And then once all that is done, we got to get the appraisal done, because we want to make sure that the value is there on the home. So we'll take care of getting all that done for you. So it's a lot of things that are going to be going on in the background that you as the buyer on your roadmap, you've done what you're supposed to do, then we have to do what we are supposed to do on the other side. So there's things that happen, and then next thing you know, you're going to be getting a call saying, oh, we're ready to go. And we can close on a certain day at a certain time. So you'll need to be ready for that. And those are the things that happens on your roadmap to your home buyers. And once we get all that done, we're going to come back in a few minutes and tell you what happens at the end, and we will wrap that up for you. So stay tuned and come back, and we'll hear what happens at the end of the roadmap. Welcome back to Raizin the Roof. Thank you for being with us today. This is Priscilla Russell with United Real Estate.
And Dolores Kennedy.
And we're going to be closing out our program this week on Home Buyers Roadmap. We already talked about all the things that we need to do in order to get ready to purchase your home. And one of the last things that's going to happen after you get your loan approval and everything is done, the appraisal is correct, and any conditions are fulfilled, then your loan is going to be processed, as we call it, and we get down to the end. And then your contract and your financing, everything is in place, and all things are satisfied, and the final approval by your mortgage company is done. All the documents go in, all this goes behind the scenes, so you would never even know what's going on with that. But we would make sure that all things are done according to what the finance company wants and so forth. So after that, the lender will get the funds together, and then what's going to happen, Dolores?
We're clear to close. You're going to get a new house. And we go to what's called a closing. And we go to the title company, and the title company is the person that makes sure that there's no liens or encumbrances on the house. They make sure that when you get the house is yours. So that's when we go and you get your keys. And that is a very exciting, I've had people break down and cry. I've had people grab me and hug me and all this kind of stuff. It is an awesome, awesome day, that day that you close on your house.
Yes, you just have to remember to transfer those utilities so you have lights and gas and water when you get there, and then make sure you change your address, and then that you take possession of the house however you've agreed to it. But we want to thank you today for just going through the Home Buyers Roadmap with us so that you know that it's possible for you to own a home, and there's certain things that we have to do. We have to be consistent. And I'm Priscilla Russell, and this is
Dolores Kennedy.
And we just thank you for being with us today on Raizin the Roof.
Raizin the Roof.